the
I mean, a
NFL. If you
team to
guys
look
have
at though.
anything else,
Angels.
I don't really want to touch on the NFL.
Hot take. The Angels win the World Series next year.
it's a hot take.
Clip it.
Shh. It's a hot take. Yeah, we'll touch on the NFL, and we'll go to Trey first. How do you feel about Seattle? Just share your feelings. Go ahead.
Alrighty, I screenshotted my rant I had last night, and I will quote unquote say my rant out loud. Give me a second. Give me a couple minutes.
You want me to talk about the Eagles?
Nope, I got it right here.
Oh, never mind.
Quote unquote to my good friend Brady Kirk, BK. Seattle makes me depressed. Like, actually so depressed. I don't even enjoy watching the NFL anymore. We effing suck for what? For the Jets to be good in the next couple of years? Like, what is going on? Like, get me 11 guys, and I bet you we could play better football than they. We shouldn't be this bad. We were projected to be good. We should be scoring touchdowns. I'd rather have Geno Smith at quarterback at this moment. Like, why didn't we just sign Cam Newton? Like, Russ needs to leave. Go be a dad, because I don't want him at quarterback anymore.
Okay, so Russ struggled last night, right? He had a hard time hitting the cross and the slant because he's short, so he has a hard time seeing over the line. But I'm just not going to blame it on Russell Wilson. Again, I don't think he's fully healthy yet.
Why even play him? Like, we're not making the playoffs. We're in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. And it's like, if we're not going to be better than the Niners, what's even the point of playing?
I just think, Trey, my thing is with Seattle is
we need the O-line.
Do you try to like restart the whole thing, or do you try to revamp?
They don't have the picks to do that.
We have no money. We have no money, and we don't have a first round pick to even restart.
So you just tank. Do you trade Russell Wilson?
I
don't know if you trade Russ yet.
I think either he's not 100% or he's playing like garbage to leave. He's not trying.
I don't think he's played like garbage to leave, but we have to think about this logically, right? So Russ just turned 33 yesterday. I still think Russ is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL when healthy, right? I still think that.
Yeah.
But he's in a no-win situation. Like, if you think about it, for Russ's case, right? Russ has done everything he could in Seattle, right?
He's done everything he could.
He won a Super Bowl, right? He got you to a second one. You should have won. He should have 2 Super Bowls, right?
Pete Carroll.
If they win that second Super Bowl, that could change everything for the
It's
Seahawks.
a dynasty.
Pete Carroll, in my opinion. Like, I know my rant was all about Russ, and I didn't mention Pete Carroll, but Pete Carroll. What was that comment? Yeah, no, I was going to say.
Hey!
By the way, he's drafted terribly. He's drafted terribly.
Fletch always appears when we're talking about the NFL.
He has telekinesis. He just knows.
But I know I didn't mention Pete Carroll, but I think Pete Carroll's a big reason why we aren't doing well.
Do you think he should be fired?
Fired, released, cut, types of.
There can be some good coaching options out there, but like if you look at past Seattle teams, that coaching has really held them back from their full potential so many years.
Well, I'll say this. So, like, Pete Carroll got a lot of credit for the Legion of Boom, and rightfully so. That was, like, one of the best secondaries we'll see in the least modern-day NFL.
Yeah.
Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Brandon Browner, Richard Sherman. I mean, so good. So good for those couple of years. Seahawks need C.J. Stroud. What? No.
Yes,
no.
Yes,
no.
Bring him in. Bro, he could be the next Russ, bro. Next Russ there.
So what I think ends up happening, Russ, there are a couple teams I'd like. Denver.
I want Rodgers to go to Denver.
Okay. Seattle. Or not Seattle, Pittsburgh.
They need one. I'd take Dwayne Haskins over Russ.
What?
Washington.
Taylor Heineke, I think, is fine.
No,
I think
Taylor
if they get
Heineke
Russ,
is not the long-term option.
I'm not saying he's the long-term, but I think he's fine right now where he's at.
Yeah, I think if they get Russ, though, they're a Super Bowl team. I think Denver is especially. If Denver gets Russ, they're a Super Bowl team.
They have such good receivers.
Listen, if Russ goes to Denver, right?
Just because he's a Charger fan.
If Russ goes to Denver, it's equivalent to Tom going to Tampa, right? Tampa already had a lot of talent. Listen, hear me out. Tampa had a lot of talent there, right? They had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin already.
Wait,
Cameron
wait a
Brate.
second though.
Wait, let him finish. Let him finish. Because
Russ would go to Jerry Judy,
Tim Patrick.
Cortland Sutton, Patrick.
KJ Hamler.
He'd get Melvin Gordon. He'd get two good running backs there. And Denver has a good defense, Patrick Surtain, right? But Chubb, they got a lot of good defenders there, right? So absolutely, Denver would be a Super Bowl contender if they got Russ.
Can you really compare Jerry Judy and Tim Patrick to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin?
I don't think they're that good, but you get the practical point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Is
But
that
hear
I
me
see
out,
what you're
though.
trying to say.
Hear me out. If you put Russ on Denver, they have to play Kansas City twice a year.
right? But they have a.
They have to play the
but
Chargers and the Raiders.
I think they could beat Kansas City right now.
You think Denver
Right now could
with
beat
Teddy
Kansas
Bridgewater
City. Yeah.
can beat
Oh, yeah.
Kansas City? You are not putting that jersey on right now. I was going to say, you have a Patriot shirt on. I don't know why you're putting your Jalen Hurts jersey on.
We'll talk about them in a second. But yeah, I think Russ, Denver, Pittsburgh, Washington's top three. And I think you know who Seattle ends up with as a bridge quarterback? You're going to hate this, Trey. You might leave. Daniel Jones.
Daniel, I do not think Daniel
No.
Jones is good at all.
No.
No, but I'm saying Seattle's not going to have a draft pick. So, and Daniel Jones is done as a Giant. There's no way they're going to keep him. And you know where I think Baker Mayfield might go?
The Vikings.
Giants.
Hold on. Your logic is not there. Your logic. What does Baker Mayfield have to do with anything in New York?
I think Baker's done in Cleveland for a couple of reasons. One is the fact I just don't think it's working. I think
The team isn't
Cleveland is. I think Cleveland's going to think, okay, maybe we'll wait a year, right? I think Stefanski's a great coach. I think Cleveland's got to realize that they're in this place that the Rams were in with Jared Goff. Not going to win a Super Bowl with Baker, and you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. So they're going to take a chance. Maybe the Browns try to go after Aaron. Maybe like they do something crazy. But then again, Aaron's such a diva that he'd be like, no, I don't want to play in Cleveland. I think Russ would be fine with it. He'd realize, oh, I have a run game. I have a decent defense in Cleveland, right? So I could see something like that. I think Baker is done in Cleveland. I don't think he likes it. I think he just fits New York. And I think Daniel Jones ends up a Seahawk.
What's your logic for Daniel Jones going to Seattle?
Seattle doesn't have a high draft pick. They won't. There's no. What's the appeal to play there? DK,
Nothing anymore.
12th man.
Wake, 12th. Daniel Jones won't have a job, or Sam Darnold. Take your.
I thought it was Sam. I'd take Sam Darnold over Daniel Jones.
Okay.
He
So
started
Sam
4-0, I think, something like that. He started what?
Sam
4-0,
Darnold.
3-0?
We'll say Sam Darnold.
But to be honest, though, I think this is going to sound
No.
stupid. Hammy, let me know. I think that next year, Minnesota looks towards Kellen Mond and gets rid of Kirk Cousins.
I agree with that because
And I
they've
think
reached
Seattle-
their ceiling.
I think Seattle will pick up Kirk Cousins.
I could see that. I wouldn't if I was Seattle. Hey, Kirk Cousins is manageable. I can make.
He could be really good at.
He could be
times.
really good. Like I said this last week. I don't know if I said it in the stream or to you or sent it to the group chat.
18 touchdowns.
18 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and then he threw 3 more that week, so he was at 21-2. I'd take that as a quarterback.
Right. But you know, this week he lined up under the right guard instead of the center. He lost.
That's,
his
saw
position.
that.
that's okay. There was no flag. Call the timeout. We're fine.
Oh no, Minnesota I think still a playoff team, but barely. They'll get the 7th seed. They'll get trounced in the first round. But let's move on to your Eagles, Derek. You know,
Lost to the Giants.
Yeah.
a letdown
mean,
week. I
mean,
had
there's
him on my.
only-
I had him minus 3.5. And
Did the Cowboys win?
Yeah.
Dallas
So
lost
you're
to the
really taking
Raiders.
your division lost.
No,
Cowboys
the
lost.
Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys
Yeah.
lost.
That was what, Thursday night, Thanksgiving Day.
So wait. Oh yeah. You're not in last place. I was gonna say you're in last. No,
No, the
You're
Giants are
5
still last.
you're 5-7, 5-6,
One of those.
5-7.
5-7, 5-7. You've played 12 games.
Dude, if we won that game, we're 2 games back from Dallas. We're 2 games.
And
behind.
you're in the playoffs.
Dallas still wins that division.
I think so. But
And I don't see two teams coming out of the NFC East making the playoffs.
right, and Derek, I got to ask you as an Eagles fan, talk about Jalen Hurts, 3 turnovers,
Honestly,
one in the red zone. I know that.
yeah,
But
he
One-
forced the ball. He forced the ball going.
One
to
was
half.
right and going to half though.
But honestly, like I know, like many Eagles fans want to blame Jalen Rager for those 2 drop touchdowns.
Ooh.
But the real man to blame is this man.
he
Made
had
a lot of errors.
he
this
had
game.
Smith
Wait, listen,
wide
listen,
open.
listen. He had Devontae Smith though. When you're looking at Rager, well, the thing about Rager is like you can't even be mad at him for dropping those. His confidence since coming into the Philly organization had just been zero. Like nobody was really backing him from the start. He really had like no real support, really nothing. His first year he was in a bad system. He wasn't being used right. I mean, like if you're like in a situation like that, like Philly fans are still coming at him now. Like I feel like we all should start backing him, helping him start being better, give him that confidence. That's really all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is still fair to blame Jalen Rieger. You gotta catch those. You're an NFL wideout.
Yeah.
You gotta catch the second one especially.
Like I'm one of those people who hated on Rager before, but I'm starting to realize now we need to back him. Like,
But
when he
Jalen Hurts-
comes to low moments.
You gotta be smart going into the
Yeah.
half, right? You only have 5 seconds on that play, was it?
Throw it out, kick
Throw it
field
away,
goal.
take your 3, and it's a tie game.
Throw it away, take it away, tie game.
We
The
would have won the
defense-
game because
The defense played well. Again, the Giants are a bad offensive team, but they still only gave up 13 points. They did their
Shut
job.
up.
You didn't run the ball well, I don't believe, right? So
No.
just a bad performance. It's a regression, especially after beating Denver, who I like. You
Beating the
competed
Saints.
against the Chargers pretty well. I mean, you competed against some really good football teams, and then to have to lay an egg like that was bad.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, maybe his worst game of the year, maybe the worst game of his career. But Derek, who do you guys got next?
We have the Jets, and Hurts might not even play. He has an ankle injury. You might see
Um,
some Minshew action. This could
Maybe.
be like a next Nick Foles type of thing. You never know.
Maybe. I think he'll be okay against the Jets. Zach Wilson played a little bit better this week against the Texans, but I think he'll be all right against the Jets.
Honestly,
I still think I think you have a chance still at
Yeah.
that final wild card spot.
yeah.
Especially since the team in it is Washington at 5 and 6, and you play
Yeah.
them twice, right?
Yeah, we can beat Washington, I feel like.
Yeah, I
It's
feel like
true.
Washington's
a lot
hot.
at times.
Wanna know who can't beat Washington?
Seattle. But like honestly, like if we lose to the Jets, I really lost all hope with this team. Like
That's fair. And
just
now
like,
we'll talk about
No.
my Patriots.
Alright.
Oh, what did you want to say
What
something?
is this?
You want to say something, Trey?
No, I'm just chilling. I'm chilling. This man.
So
He has a Patriots shirt, Eagle jersey, and he has a Chicago Bear hat somewhere in this house.
obviously a tough first half for us against Tennessee. We didn't play too well, right? We were up, but we didn't play too well. We struggled to run the ball, which is something we've done really well during the 5-game win streak with Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris. Struggled to run the ball in the first half. Second half, fantastic. 20 points. We had 4 takeaways that game. J.C. Jackson with a pick, a forced fumble. Devin McCourty with a tip pass. How else did we get a turn? Oh, they just fumbled. I think Kyle Duggar recovered it. And just overall a really dominant performance in the second half by the defense. Mac Jones played his best game of his career. I'm amazed at how well Mac Jones is doing as a rookie. I heard somebody trying to say today he's a top 10 quarterback this year. He's not. Okay, let's not say this. Mac Jones is efficient, right? He's really efficient. He does his job. He hits guys. A guy who I really love is Kendrick Bourne. Played really well. Made that great catch over Kevin Byard, and then made that other great play into the end zone for a second touchdown. I'm really impressed with this Patriots team, man. If they're a playoff team, I made a video on Take Two saying I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, right? Just the one statistic that quarterbacks who are rookies don't win Super Bowls.
Don't win the Super Bowl.
So that just one statistic there makes me think that they won't win it. But they do have the formula to do it. I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be a tough one in Buffalo. Josh Allen usually struggles against the Patriots, so look for that maybe. Monday night. I'll take Buffalo by a field goal, but I think the Pats compete. Guys, what do you think about the Pats, and what do you think about their chances Monday night?
They have a chance. They have one, in my visual seeing of games, they have probably one of the best defenses in the NFL. Judon, in my eyes, is defensive player of the year. He's
Yeah.
playing phenomenal. He's like, I don't know how no team can stop him. Their defense just has to play well. They can't give up 100 rushing yards to two different running backs. Obviously, they can't do that. But it's
Yeah,
just-
right.
It's just,
Which is
their
something
defense-
they stopped the run really well this year, especially with I've talked to people who I'll name names too. Like Liam says, the Patriots can't draft. Let me name some guys that they've drafted in the last two drafts: Michael Wenwu, Kyle Duggar, Christian Barmore, Damian Harris 3 years ago, Ramondre Stevenson, and Mac Jones. All starters and all. And 4 years ago was an undrafted free agent named J.C. Jackson. Don't tell me that Bill Belichick can't draft. That narrative was you could say he can't draft receivers. That's fair. We've never drafted a good receiver, like a dominant. We still don't have a dominant number one. That's fine. Belichick just drafts well in the defense. Like it's ludicrous to say that Belichick can't draft. It was ludicrous the takes we had last year. Belichick's not a good coach. Like Belichick had 8 opt-outs last year. He had Cam Newton as his quarterback. Look at what Cam Newton did this week.
One of the
Okay.
lowest passing ratings of the season.
Belichick won 7 games with that team, with Jacoby Myers as his number one receiver, with friggin' Ryan Izzo as his best tight end. Okay, like I don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear that. Like Bill is not a good coach. That team won 7 games and was in the playoff race. That's amazing. That's incredible. And this year
Wanna
is
know who's
8 and
still in the
4
playoff
with the
race? Detroit
Seattle.
Lions. Oh, Detroit Lions. I saw a TikTok today.
If you bet on the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl, you can make $100 million.
No. I saw a TikTok today that the Detroit Lions can make the playoffs. They just have to go 6, 10, and 1, and every other team has to finish 6 and 11, and they make the playoffs. But there's
Oh, wow.
32 different ways why they can't make the playoffs.
but there's one that they can.
Are we living in a simulation if they make it?
Yes.
We do. Yeah.
Report.
I got nothing else to talk about, guys, unless you got something else you want to talk about.